Okay, today we're going to learn about tetrachords, and tetrachords are easy ways to figure out how to make a scale. And so in your theory book, you're going to see page 2 is all about tetrachords. There's a really important rule that you should know about making scales, and they list it right up here on the top of the page. So if you take a second and look right here, it says if sharps or flats are needed in creation of a major scale, only one or the other can be used. So what they're really saying is you can't have a flat scale with a sharp in it, and you can't have a sharp scale with a flat in it. This works for everything but some minor scales would have both. But the major scales, if it's got a sharp in it, can't have a flat in it. If it has a flat in it, it cannot have a sharp in it. Okay, scales that have sharps in them, we're going to call sharp scales. And scales that have flats in them, we're going to call flat scales. The other thing you should know about sharp scales, that's kind of easy, is almost all of the sharp scales, major scales, have just the name, a letter name, like G or A or B or C, except for two of them, which is F sharp and C sharp major, which are a lot of sharps. So, but simply put, most of the sharp scales have just a letter name like G or A or B or C or D. And flat scales, almost all flat names like B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, with the exception of F. Okay, so we're going to take a look at a tetrachord. A tetrachord basically is a scale with four notes in it, and it follows a pattern. And that pattern is right here. It's whole, whole, half. Okay? You would say it's a four-note pattern, but there's only three. Well, we're talking about the spaces in between the notes. So if you look, there's actually four notes. One, I'm sorry, one, two, three, four, right? In that tetrachord. So basically, what we're really talking about right now, oops, let's make that look better here. Back to my thing there. We are really just talking about this part of the scale, okay? Those four notes. And if you look in between those notes, they have three notes in the pattern. Okay, so we got to figure out how to transpose that. So on piano, I got a piano right here. It's easy to see whole steps and half steps. So a whole step is two half steps, just like in math, two halves make a whole. So let's look at what a half step looks like on piano. So a half step would be one key in either direction. So in the case of a scale right now, we're going up. So one key to the right would be this one. That's a half step. And we got to make two half steps to make a whole step. So one more half step would be this one. So I've got a half step from, whoops, I forgot my piano doesn't work with the tool. So I got a half step here from here to here, and then a half step from here to here. Okay, that makes this a whole step from here to here. Okay, so let's take a look now. Let's start with this D scale here. So what I'm going to do is the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw the notes where they go. Okay. Okay, and I know my notes don't look great because I'm drawing them with a with my mouse. It would be much easier to just draw them. And this one's just huge. There we go. That's a little better. Okay, now we got to figure out which one's sharp because there probably is one since we're doing scales called sharp scales, right? So I'm going to pull that piano up again, and we're going to take a look here. So we're starting on D, okay, in treble clef, and then we go up a whole step, just like the pattern says. It says right here, we got to go up a whole step. So that's half and half. So that's the whole step. Okay, so in E natural. Okay, then we got to go up another whole step, like it says right there. So that would be whole or half and another half. So that is actually a whole step there because it's half step to half step. Okay, so that's F sharp. So there's where we have to draw in a sharp. Okay, so in front of the note, you draw in your sharp. Okay, and it should go on the same space. Okay, then we got to go, it says a half step. After those two holes, we got to go a half. So we're going to do that on the piano here. A half step from here would be there. And that's just simply a G. So that tetrachord is finished. All right, now we are going to skip over to this other treble clef one right here. And we're going to do a tetrachord with that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw in the notes going up the scale so that that's already done. Okay, and one more. Okay, so there's my scale notes. Now we got to figure out which one's sharp. All right, if any. So we're going to start here on an A. Okay, and we got to go just the same pattern. It's whole step, half step. So we're going to go a whole step. That's half to a whole. And then another whole step. So it's half to a whole. And then another half step. So that's just one key. So you can see we've got one sharp here. And that's a C sharp. So I'm going to draw in my C sharp. Should go on the same space. Sharp should. Okay. So that tetrachord is finished now. So now what happens is if you put two tetrachords together, you'll get a major scale. So you can see that this G right here ends right before the A. So what we're going to go down to this D major tetrachord here. And what we're going to do is, major scale. What we're going to do is we're going to use this tetrachord and this tetrachord to make a major scale. So the very first thing I would do is I'm going to try to draw these circles just to save some time. Circle. Ooh, it disappeared. Okay. Ooh, I don't know why it's doing that. It's like it can't keep up with me. All right. What did I do? I skipped something somewhere. Oh, oh, you guys have probably been laughing at me the whole time. And if not, you should have been. Because I didn't even start on a D. It says D major. I got to start on a D, right? Okay, so let's try that again. So D, E, you notice I'm just going alphabetical order. F, G, A, B, C, and D. Okay, so now I've got the whole scale written out. Now I'm going to take this tetrachord right here. My first tetrachord is going to be these 4 notes. Okay, so if I look here, I have an F sharp, so I just got to simply draw an F sharp right here. Okay, my second tetrachord is this one right here, see? So I'm going to draw a C sharp in front of that tetrachord. And there you go. I have a major scale. You'll notice now that D major has 2 sharps in it, just like the key signature would say. Well, alternatively, if you know the key signature name, you don't even have to do any of this stuff. You could just put the sharps in there. So if you know that G major has 1 sharp and it's F sharp, just put an F sharp in that scale. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to finish the page. So you're going to draw in the rest of the tetrachords. And, don't forget that these are in bass clef and that there's another treble clef one here to do. And then you're going to try to finish the rest of these tetrachords. Now, I'm seeing an issue already. So you might have to transpose too, right? So if this is a G tetrachord, it's going to go like this, and it's going to end on this C. So on this G major one here, you're going to have to keep going. So this D, you did a D chord over here, so you just have to transpose this up an octave, and you'll be able to see your tetrachord. So your F sharp would be way up here, right? And that would finish your scale. The same thing's going to happen in bass clef too. I think you'll see it when you write out your scale. You'll see what I mean. Okay, so you can do this page and page 3 now, I think, and you'll be just fine. Okay. Um, you can also, sit at the piano and play the scale, and you can check your work to see if it's right. So I'm going to play the scale, and if it sounds like a major scale, like we play in band, then it's probably right. Let me mark them so you can see. There's the first tetrachord. There's the second tetrachord. So you can, use your Chromebook and find one of these pianos, or you can just use the piano in the practice room or at your house or on your computer, whatever you got. All right, good luck. Let me know how it turns out. At the end of the week, I'll check your book. I'll also check it when you get finished if you need some help.